find.
Right.
That reminds me. Thank you for that, Brian. Because not only is that a very kind gift, but it's also a timely reminder just to let everyone know, if you've made a Ko-fi donation, then you have access, obviously, to the postcard videos that we send out. But I'm starting to do work in the shed, and I'm doing more work in the shed than is filling into the videos. So there are cameos going out as well to those who support us on Ko-fi. So there is a cameo video over there for our supporters showing a bit of craft from the shed that hasn't been out on public release. So I just wanted to let you all know, in case there's anyone who supports us but doesn't check the Ko-fi videos, that is over there. So there we go.
Here we go. Oh, thank you, Jill. £10 super chat. Thank you. Just in case we need a new microphone. Thank you so much, Jill. It could happen.
There we go.
I don't know.
We're up and running. We're up and running.
Just doesn't. Have you noticed how little longevity most technology has? When I first had a washing machine, I had it for about 12, 14 years. And since then, I haven't had a washing machine that's lasted me more than 3 years.
Well, back in the old days, we used to change the brushes on the motor. Now the brushes are still good and the washing machine is packed up.
Yep. So thank you, Jill. That is great, because
yes,
I've had that microphone now for about 4 years, so it could well be on the blink.
Yeah, it's strange though that it was just switched it off, turned it all off.
I know.
Turn it all on and it works.
I know.
No matter how advanced technology gets, do you know what? I can imagine them landing on the Mars and they lose all communication and they just switch it on, switch it off, and it'll work.
I don't know if any of you've seen the IT crowd, the IT crowd, and they're there on the phone and people ring in with all these problems and they say, have you turned it off and turned it back on? And usually that does fix the problem. When we first started, Tim would say, have you turned it off and turned it on?
I know, you think he was winding you up.
I know. I thought, that's not going to change anything. But now, before I called him, I turn it off and on. Usually does the trick.
Anyway, you're going to show your find?
I'm going to show my find, which is this little girlie here. Oh, what I'll do, I'll cover her up, because sometimes you can get in awful trouble. Somebody can report you on YouTube for showing things you shouldn't, and it's only a plastic doll.
But if you think Caroline's joking, she's not, because we did get in trouble on our old channel.
We did?
Because we were buying and selling, we were doing the Celtic Traders channel, and Caroline, for a thumbnail, put up the picture of a load of Barbie dolls just piled up. But obviously, most of them didn't have clothes on, they were just piled up. And we got dinged for it.
I did, and I actually appealed, and they said, no, sorry. It's outside of the guidance level.
It was nudity, so you've got to be so careful. So with all the rubbish that gets away with it, but you've got to be careful.
Stick a paste pot over her head. There we go. There we go.
No, you haven't got to hide red.
Well, hide her body there. There we are. Look at that.
She's on the video.
Yep, she is. So there we go. There is my find. You can see it on the back there now. I can show you closely where it would have had the back clipped on. And she's in pretty good condition, other than the back end of her. So I'm going to make some little moulds of these. So Sarah was saying she's got a video, because I haven't had a chance to watch all Sarah's crafting videos, but apparently video number 9 is the one that tells you how to make, what would you call it?
A mould?
Mould, yeah, to make copies. A cast to make copies of this. So I'm going to make a few of these, because I've got a project in mind that these will come in useful for.
Belinda saying that she and the family have been to Lyme Regis.
Oh, lovely. Did you find anything exciting? Bet you did.
We hope to be visiting Lyme Regis during our anniversary holiday. That will be fun.
It will.
If we get there. Depends on the weather. But
yep.
We'll have fun anyway, because we're going to have a holiday. Shall we do a question?
Right, shall we do a question?
Shall we do a question?
I'm already there now.
Now, I remembered to bring most of the things back up from the shed, but the pot of snuff is still down there, which is just as well, otherwise I'd be sneezing. Because
Did you see the video?
It was all I could do not to sneeze after I'd opened the tin of snuff, and I thought, is that snuff? And I sniffed the lid, and I carried on talking, and my eyes were starting to water.
I was laughing when I was editing that.
It was
so funny.
I am not good with old snuff stuff. But I haven't got the snuff tin with me, but anyone who's seen the video will see that Caroline found a little tin. I had to bring it to the shed to open because it was tight on and we used the mold grips. Got it open and it was a full tin of snuff, which probably came from the pit. So, therefore, I can give a snuff-related question.
Snuff-related.
And it's amazing how many people have commented saying of relatives that worked in the mines and used to chew back or sniff snuff. Lots and lots of people know snuff sniffers. They do indeed. The indigenous population of which country were the first people known to have used ground tobacco as snuff? Was it A, Australia, B, Brazil, or C, Chile? Is it A, Australia, B, Brazil, or C, Chile? When asking which indigenous people were the first known to have used ground tobacco as snuff.
Right, we've got some answers. Oh, so Jeff is still in hospital. Oh, sorry to hear that, Jeff. I know you were hoping to be home for today's show, but hopefully it won't be long now when they let you out. You're just too nice.
Yes.
They like you. They don't want to let you go. Be a bit more offensive.
I'm sure on behalf of everyone in the chat, we are right in saying that we send you best wishes, my boy, and hope you are on the mend very soon and back out and able to join us next week for the party.
Yes, which is answering Lexi B's question, is there going to be an anniversary party? Have you been fiddling with my glasses? I put them off and they get stuck on my ear.
Why would I be fiddling with your glasses?
You'll be wearing my glasses.
Alright.
He has, and now
I don't fiddle with them, I only wear them.
But they're the wrong shape now.
Right, what did Lexi be asking?
Lexi said...
You diverge.
I can't... Look, I'm all up in the air now after that sound issue. Lexi said, are we having an anniversary celebration show next week? We are.
Indeed.
We're going to have cake. We're going to doll up. So if you got a favourite snack or cake, make sure you've got that to eat. Doll up if you want to. And also, we'd love you to send in photographs of yourselves. We have had some. Either mudlarking or whatever. And if you're dressed up, if you're dressing up for the show, send us a picture of you in your glad rags. Let's see that. Send them to...
we'll include those in the show.
Yes, we'll have them on I'll put a little slideshow of them. If you want to send something in, it's mudlarking@aol.com, and that I put in the description of this video. So it's mudlarking@aol.com.
See, you said it right the first time. You thought I'll repeat it. Just to say that as well as having the issues with the microphone, at 7:30 tonight we got a phone call. Tim has been working in Cardiff all day at a Comic-Con because, as you know, Tim runs tables at Comic-Cons, makes his own products and sells them. And he rang at 7:30 to say that due to a shortage of train drivers, all trains to the valleys after 6 o'clock this evening were cancelled. Just shut the line. So anyone in Cardiff is stranded. So at 7:30 I had to leave, drive to the city, pick up Tim, and I got back at 11 minutes to 9. And then the sound didn't work. So Caroline's been preparing everything. Normally I'm here for the hour and a half before getting things ready, but it's been chaos.
It has.
It's been absolute chaos. That is just by way of explanation for why Caroline is a gibbering idiot tonight.
Thank you.
There we go. Anyway, getting back to the question.
Have you seen the right answers?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, you there?
Hang on.
So we got that one there first, then this one, then that one. So... 3 in a row were right. Did you guess this one? I don't think... No, I guessed this wrong. Phil did read them out to me earlier, and I guessed this one wrong. So I made some sort of weird connection.
What is Jeff saying there?
Jeff said preemptive answer as the Wi-Fi is slow in hospital. So I think he put in B just in case before you asked the question because it takes so long.
So because it takes so long, he put in B not knowing what the question was. So on that basis... we are going to give Jeff a special prize for Telepathy.
Yes, very
which
impressive.
he has to share with Ed Creative. Because Ed guessed B yesterday. He did.
We've got some very talented people on here.
So perhaps Jeff and Ed would like to chat amongst themselves telepathically. Because Jeff, you have got the correct answer even though you didn't know what the answers were. And Ed got the correct answer yesterday when he stuck a bee up and he goes, oh, I'm a day early. And so that's the awards for the telepathic event. But then if we're going to take those who answered knowing which answers were which, it's going to be Adam Gates.
Well done, Adam.
West Country Mudlarks.
Well done, West Country Mudlarks.
And Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel Bailey. Whoa,
because the answer was B, Brazil. And quite a few of you had that, but quite a few agreed with Caroline, which would make her feel a lot better, because Caroline had guessed Chile.
I did. I just thought, I don't know, because it's a hot country and you wouldn't associate something like Snuff with a Hot Country. It's probably that because Phil's terrible, isn't he, for leading us astray with our answers. And I was wrong. But never mind. Right, you going to do a find, Mr. Johnson?
I can do.
Go on then.
2 finds.
Oh, I didn't say you could do 2 finds.
Well, they're kind of similar. 2 finds. 1 vulcanized stopper, which is pretty standard. Doesn't have much written on it. We couldn't decide on the thing. If it was a U or a C, I would now say it's probably a U, but who knows. So there's the vulcanized stopper. But this one, we thought was a cork in a bottle. But then we realised it was not. Because it, again, is a twist top stopper. But it is wood. It's not vulcanized, it's wood. Now, if I'd been here for the hour and a half prior to tonight, then I would have done what I intended to do on a few of these items, which is look up the history and the age. But I haven't had the opportunity, but I have cleaned it up, and it's definitely wooden. And you can see why we thought it was a cork when you look at the top. It's completely different material to this, yet it does exactly the same job, as you can see. I personally have never found one of those before.
There you go, that's a first.
For the reason they rot, I would imagine.
Probably.
And I think what saved this one was being wrapped up in that lovely glass top. Nice pretty glass. As I said on the movie, I thought it was a little vase or something, or a little pot when I picked it up, but the neck preserved that. Has anyone else come across a wooden twist stopper, and does anyone know anything about them? Because for me, it's a first. There we go.
Oh, Jeff said, just thought I would mention that I'm busily scoffing some nice chocolate finger biscuits. Delish, and I'm dunking them in a nice cup of tea. Ooh. Okay, we're all jealous now. Thank you, Jeff.
There are perks to being in hospital.
Oh, Jenny has 2 wooden ones. One says Crosswell's on it.
All right. There we go.
Nothing on that one, I don't think.
No, well, that one is in such a tatty condition because it's been in the river for a long
now
while.
Vintage Paragon said sometimes the cork takes the shape of the glass top, maybe rather than being made that way. Interesting.
But it's interesting. Why would they put a cork into a screw top? Because that is definitely a screw top. So I appreciate what you're saying, and that crossed my mind. But it's obviously made.
Tinkling Twins and their mom, who's Laura, said Sarah and Mick have found a wooden one who are Manchester Mudlarks now. They've changed their name.
That's right. Well, first for me. But interesting that somebody's found with Cross and Blackwell on.
Yes.
Interesting that others have picked them up. And possibly if we pick them up at a dump, we'd be more likely to have it in better condition. Than that was a river find. It's come out of a dump. It's come out of the walls there below the path, but washed into the river and been there for some time, I think, seeing the state on that. So there we are. That was something different.
Have something to show.
Ooh.
And that is that Adrian paid for an ice cream for Max, and we finally got a picture sent through of Max. We don't get many of him eating his ice cream, but I'm just looking here, just a second. So we got a picture of Max eating his ice cream, but he fancied an orange sorbet. I think he liked the colour. So here is Max, our grandson, eating his orange sorbet.
Yeah, that is by way of a thank you to Adrian, who sent a gift so that Max could have ice cream.
Yes, and he thoroughly enjoyed it.
There we go.
Oh, right, there we go. Our Hastings, that is Nathan, who's Max's dad. Our son said, thank you from Mr. Max. So there we go.
We've been spied on by the family,
We are. Right. We have something to show you now that Phil assembled in the shed, and Jill's already spotted it and has mentioned it.
What's that? Oh, I've got 2 things there.
But I think that's what she meant. The vase.
Yeah.
She hasn't mentioned this yet. Nobody seems to have spotted this then, have they?
There we go. That's the piece that will go back on the shelf afterwards down at the shed. As I say, we sometimes find a few bits of the same thing. We've had a teapot which we reassembled from about 20 pieces.
Yep.
Which was in That was in the dump, wasn't it? We found that. Brought it home in a paper bag. This one was in 2 pieces. This was when we were up with Tom, and I went climbing trees to get up the banking. And I found this piece.
There wasn't a lot of it.
I found this
really.
piece here, but enough, because the base is completely gone. It's got no base, but it still stands. But there's enough because it goes from this point to here, and it's got that whole flower on it there. So it's still pretty. It does the job. It looks pretty in the shed.
That's right. As long as you look at it from the right angle, it's not too bad. Just don't look at the other side or from underneath.
And it's posing the other way because it bounces better on my shelf.
There we go.
And of course,
Right.
here's another one that was in the movie this week. A few comments on that one saying it looks like a theatrical award. And I can see the point, because that looks quite Shakespearean, that hand reaching out there. And this looks very much like your sort of BAFTA type thing, except it's a little bit broken. And Caroline said you should have put his mouth on upside down and made him smile.
Brighten him up a bit. You're miserable. Look at that.
That was another creation from the shed this week, which I think made good use of this as a plinth.
Yes.
And as you may have noticed, Caroline has now christened me.
Plinth man.
Yes. But she has far too much fun when she's editing. That's all I can
have
say.
complete editorial control, so I can do what I like when I'm editing.
Indeed.
Poor old Phil.
And you do.
I know.
That's why I end up crossing rivers to something akin to the Sugar Plum Fairy or something.
Well, Rufus said Phil's been given the Dafter Award.
Thank you very much. I will take it.
A couple of people are worried about Manky. Now, I had a problem. I thought I was going to be doing the show without Phil because he got called out. And I thought, well, I'll have Manky here to support me. And I can't find him anyway. So where is Manky gone?
I'll get him now.
Go on, then you go get
I
him.
know exactly where he is.
Right.
I was talking to him earlier.
Right, so he must, as long as he's still there. He's a little monkey. He's not, he's a little panda. I wonder why we call him a little monkey. Oh, here he comes. And he looks clean. He hasn't been up to any mischief that I can tell. I
There you
dread
go,
to think.
folks. Whoop. He lost a welly.
Lexi said, little plinths today, Phil. The plinth in Trafalgar Square tomorrow.
I tell you, you can't go wrong if you got a plinth.
I tell you what, you could put that into one of those modern art exhibitions, couldn't you?
There we are. Now he's going to stand up by your cone.
No. Oh, did I show you this? I went out the garden today. Now, our garden has been neglected. We worked really hard at the beginning of the year, but we've been so busy. And I went to check my corn, and look, it's a coloured corn. But what I love about it,
Looks
I've
like
never
lots of
grown this
eyes.
before. It does, doesn't it? You see all the... Not a lot of the kernels didn't get pollinated or fertilised, so they are still little teeny weeny ones, but a lot did. And the hairs are purple, and the leaves are purple. I really love that. So I stuck it in a vase. Thought it looked pretty. Thought you might like to see my corn.
That's not your only product from the garden,
It's
is it?
not. Let's put this back in my
Corn pot.
little, yes, which is a bottle jar. And I do have, I'll show you this. Seems to be, because I went down to get this. Oh, look at that. I only got two. I got two plants, and there's yards and yards of plants. But
Loads
I only
of
got,
flowers.
yeah, but nothing really come in. But this is a potty marron. I always wanted to grow one, and this year I treated myself to some seeds, and they've grown. I got a little one over there. That's. Do you want to pass that one?
Yes, I can do that.
There we go. He's darker, but he's smaller. But I've decided to bring them in because it is so wet when we get in the rain now. I don't want them rotting, so I'll bring them in. They're nice and hard. They've already hardened off a bit because we've had a late bit of sunshine. So I got myself some potty marron, which apparently tastes of chestnuts. Should be nice.
Very big chestnut.
Yes.
Right, there we go.
Adam said, I thought it was an onion for a second. Very red onion. It is onion shaped though, isn't it? Right, pop those down. Oh, like that. And let's go for another question. Time is getting on.
Okay, dokie.
Why you go quiet?
This question is related to the find Caroline showed at the beginning, which is a doll. Archaeological evidence places dolls as the foremost candidate for the oldest known toy. Wooden paddle dolls have been found in Egyptian tombs dating back to the 1st century BC, or was it the 11th century BC, or was it the 21st century BC?
I got this one right.
Righto, so if you think they found them dating back to the 1st century BC, that's A. 11th century BC, that's B. And if you think it was as far back as the 21st century BC, then that is C.
Ooh, a lot of answers coming in. No, interesting. Oh, Jeff, is in again trying his luck? Is this your telepathy, or is this a guess of the answer?
Well, he's come in the middle of the answer, yeah, so we gotta include him. But right or wrong, he's in this time.
Yep.
He's in the middle.
Right. So can you see where the first right answer is?
Yep.
There we go. So I can go to the bottom. Hey, wow. There we go. Rita said the wooden stopper is made from lignum vitae tree. I've heard of that. Is that the one with really, really hard wood? I think it is. I could be completely wrong. But I've definitely heard of that. I think I've heard of it on antique programs when they have certain cabinets and things, wooden things made of lignum vitae. Have you heard of that?
That heavy wood.
You think it's heavy as well, do you? So it's not just me.
Is that the one they use for bowls?
Could be, yes.
Or something else, I'm not sure.
So they think
I have heard of it.
It's that one they use as the bottle stoppers.
Right.
Oh, Sweet Blue said it's either A, B or C. You are right. Very dark hardwood, Ed said. Right, there we go. That's what it is. It's a very hard wood. Yeah, which would explain why he survived that long, because...
Yeah, because even in the water, it has survived. It has held on.
A lot of softer woods wouldn't. Our fence wouldn't have survived that long. Our fence is struggling to survive like 20 years.
Indeed. All right then.
So, let's have some answers. And we are ready for the answers. Are you ready? That's the question.
Right then. The first correct answer comes from West Country Mudlarks.
Well done.
So there we go. They were on the podium last time, and they've taken first place this time. So don't forget, if you haven't checked out the West Country Mudlarks channel, have a look at the work they're doing over there, and I'm sure you'd enjoy it. So West Country Mudlarks gave us a C, which is 21st century BC. So dolls have been around a while. Now then, Jeff, trying my luck again. We're giving you the prize because where Jeff used telepathy the first time, he was way out in front. But he's come in on a second podium this time.
Well done, Jeff.
Followed by Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
There we go. So we're getting some familiar names up there in the top. And Rachel Bailey beat Mary Beth by a whisker.
Ooh.
Yeah, they won. They both had the correct answer, but Rachel was in first. So there we go. Yeah, 21 centuries BC, and we're now at the 21st century AD. So that's a long time ago that they found wooden dolls. But of course, they weren't in a river. They were in a tomb, therefore they were well preserved.
Yeah, it's nice and dry.
Everything is inside the tombs out there with the pharaohs. But there we are. Well done, everyone, because we had a lot of answers in and quite a few correct ones.
Pamela said they make lawn bowl from lignum. So there we go. You were right about the lawn bowls.
I thought so, because they're heavy things.
Right, and apparently Nicola White has written an article about stoppers, and Phyllis said wood of life is lignum vitae, so that's what it means. I'm assuming it's Latin.
Ah.
I did Latin in school. I can't remember anything other than Caelicus, which was a man, est in horto. So Caelicus is in the garden. That's it. Right then. Yep, so we're all done there. Oh,
I tell you what.
Lona's husband is lawn bowling today. Very clever.
Tell you what, I am going to show my present.
Oh, go on then.
I have a present. Caroline showed her present last week from the Crafty Caravan, isn't it? You showed your present. And I'm going to show my present now because the edible present's gone. But I'm not telling you where, but it is gone. But I've been given a very nice present. Now, can you guess what the name of this is?
bears a certain resemblance to something.
What do you think that is, folks? What would you, if you had that, if you made one of those and you wanted to give it a nickname, what would you call it?
James Archer said rail pin. Linda Peterson said woof woof.
Very good, very
Jill
good.
Tabor said it's a giraffe. Little Owl Bag's a dog. West Country Mudlark said a dog Spike.
Yeah.
Phyllis
there we
said
go.
Spike. Ed said I know but I can't recall. That's really frustrating, isn't it?
Yep. It is, you're absolutely right, it is a railway pin. And the Crafty Caravan has picked this up for me from a museum. I'm sure they didn't pick it up as in it was a museum exhibit.
They didn't steal it.
And they popped it in their pocket. They're not that kind of people. They're very nice people. As I say, they're very, very nice people. But there was some of these there and they were available for purchase, and they got this one for me because it is a rail pin, which is commonly known as a dog spike or dog pin. And I can't imagine why.
Oh, we get some good names though. Vintage Paragon said a puppy pin. Lynn said Jerome the giraffe. Let's have a look. Looks like a Spike thing, yeah.
It is a spike.
A dash hound. American rail pin. Spike the dogs.
Now, in the States, I believe there are an awful lot of spikes because it was the method used preferably for driving in the old rail lines. In Britain, we use a different method, but this is off a narrower gauge rail. Therefore, they use the spikes. And that's one of the spikes. And I think that's an absolute beaut. What a lovely piece
It's lovely,
of
I've
metal.
never seen one before.
No, I'm really pleased with that. That's going to find pride of place down in my shed on display. I might even put it on a plinth.
Oh, why not, Plinth Man?
Yeah, there we go. So, that was a present of Crafty Caravanners. And can I just say, if anybody out there has not checked out the Crafty Caravanners channel, then please do so. Have a little look, see what you think. And in particular, you may think, oh, Crafty Caravanners, I'm more into mudlarking. Well, if you want to see what we didn't show, then soon as their videos are out of their trip down here, they'll be showing the finds. That's why we didn't show the things that they found. We've got 2 videos of the Crafty Caravans. There's another one to come out, and we're not showing the finds that they found, the majority of them anyway, because they are creating mudlarking videos being out with us. So please go over and have a look, because when I checked, they have 1.45k subscribers. So it'd be lovely if we could push them over the 1.5.
It would.
If we could get another 50 people to subscribe over there, that would push them over the 1,500. And it always feels like progress when you hit those numbers. Always feels like progress. And I know that a lot of you are into craft as well, because obviously a number of mudlarking channels do craft. I know that Nicola White, she does craft. I know that Sarah, she does craft. Obviously I'm doing, it's not really craft, it's sticking things together on plinths. But
Very clever, very creative.
It's my idea of
thought
craft.
process goes into it.
Yeah, and I'd like to give now a shout out to 3 channels.
Right.
Who, one is Catherine at the Eclectic Thrifter and Crafter.
Yes.
Give a shout out to her. I subscribed to that channel, well, we subscribed to that channel this week, and we were the 100th subscriber. That is the biggest channel I'm giving a shout out for. I'm giving a shout out for 3 channels tonight. Giving a shout out for Catherine, that's the Eclectic Thrifter and Crafter. That's her channel on YouTube.
If you want a relaxing video and you just want to sit down, have a cuppa and forget your case, it's a brilliant video.
We watched Tea on Tuesday and it was lovely, it was beautiful. It's only a short video, but it's so pleasant and so interesting and covers quite a few things in their channel. So there we go. The other channel I'm giving a shout out for, we did last week, and that was for Lexi B, because Lexi's Larks and Crafts now has 78 subscribers when I checked this afternoon. So we only need 22 more, folks, and we can get Lexi over the 100 as well. And third and finally for tonight, and the smaller end of the channels, and that's Adam's Family Pursuits. Now, I want to say a thank you to Adam's Family Pursuits, because I've been watching their videos on prepping fossils, because I have one to do myself. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, but they do all sorts over there. It really is a lovely channel. So they have 61 subscribers. They recently celebrated their 50th. Now they've got 61. So 3 channels who are 100 or below, who are on that link with craft for the crafty caravanners as well. So that's the Eclectic Thrifter and Crafter, Lexi's Larks and Crafts, and Adam's Family Pursuits. Could all do with a visit from you. And if you like what you see, then give them the sub. There we go.
Yep. Right. Before we move on, there's a few comments that I wanted to mention. Lake Frog said it's the rare tree with trowel sprouts. I've seen one of those once.
Indeed.
Sweet Blue said, is that why, talking about the spike, is that why people started using Spike as a name for their dogs? What a brilliant thought.
What? I missed that. Feed in.
That is a dog Spike. Is that why people started calling their dog Spike?
I've no idea.
It's a good thought though, isn't it?
It is indeed.
And West Country Mudlark said, I only knew because I worked on the Dark Valley Steam Railway.
Ah, right. Which would that have had the smaller rail and therefore using these? Because that's what we understood be the purpose of these, was on a smaller gauge rail. Because obviously on the intercities and that, they use the dirty great big things and they drive the wedges in, which is a different method again. But I was so chuffed with that. That's a perfect gift for someone like me. And what did I give them? A brick. In fact, I think I gave them 2 bricks. No, they found one and I gave them another one. So they went home with 2 bricks.
Right, let's have, because it's 22 now, I'll show you
yes.
this, which
Yes.
I'm really pleased with this. A terracotta frozen Charlotte. Well, I'll put my fingers there just in case. So she's got no feet, no head, but I haven't seen a terracotta one. Maybe it's just because I just haven't lived. Maybe everybody's seen one other than me. But I haven't seen a terracotta frozen Charlotte. So that, I think, is lovely. And I'm going to see if I can do something with it.
That is something else I would have researched to check if they made them in terracotta. But
yes, they do. I'm sure I've seen somewhere about terracotta, I think.
There we go.
I may be making that up. I may have dreamt it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I think they're rarer than the white ones. Possibly. I'm not sure. Right then, Lexi said she will be frozen with no clothes on. I know. Oh, there we go. Mudlark and Beachcombe in Scotland said, lovely, rarer find, Caroline. And Sweet Blue said, glad you found it. Right, so there we are. They are a bit rarer then. It's always nice to... Do you ever do that? You have a dream and then you wake up in the morning and you think you know something and you don't. It was just in your dream and you've made it up. It's really scary, that. Right. Has this happened to any of you? In the middle of the night, you have a really scary dream. Frightens the life out of you, wakes you up. And then you have to go to the loo, and I go to the loo, and I don't half run fast. I'm in there quick, back into bed, jump into bed, catch myself up under the bedclothes. And I know it's stupid, but it's just, it frightened me so much. I'm like, oh, and it's not even to do with somebody breaking in the house or something. It's just a silly, scary dream, but it really frightens me sometimes. Oh, Flower Girl in Ward 17 said she would be funny with an animal head Frankenstein on. Yeah, that would be really funny, wouldn't it? Right. So let's go for... What are you doing now?
I'm
Phil's
just
breaking the internet again.
No, I'm just checking something because where was I? I don't know. It was Charlotte S said can't seem to find Catherine's channel.
Right.
I just typed in Google search the Eclectic Thrifter and it gave me an option for that channel on YouTube. I clicked on it and it brought up the video.
Oh, there we go.
So it may be my pronunciation, but it's the Eclectic. So it's Eclectic. Eclectic.
Right.
The Eclectic Thrifter and Crafter. Okay, so I just typed it into Google search and it did bring it up on mine, but that could be because I've played it before, so I don't know.
Right, should we do another question?
Oh, go on then. And seeing as you've just shown your terracotta dolly, I will ask the terracotta dolly question.
Oh, go on then.
Even if it's not the next one in order.
I like to live life on the edge.
Discovered by farmers while digging for a well, the terracotta warriors, bit bigger than this little character, the terracotta warriors had laid there for 8,000 years. The sheer scale of the army is a marvel, as it consists of over A, 8,000, B, 10,000, or C, 12,000 figures. What do you think? Do you think it's more than 8,000? Do you think it's over 8,000, over 10,000, or over 12,000 figures that can make up the army? And an interesting thing that I learned was they never completed it. He must have died before they finished, because there should have been more. Because there were 4 areas laid out for filling with the armies, and the one section was empty.
This disappears. Can I just interrupt you? Thank you, Christina Mitazaki. I hope I haven't messed up that name, for your donation on Ko-fi. Thank you ever so much. That's really kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
I really
Christina.
appreciate that. Thank you.
And that's very kind of you. And as I say, there's videos out there. All of the live shows go over onto Ko-fi, and they can be watched by everyone and free. And there's the occasional video goes on Ko-fi. But we put out little postcard videos for our supporters over there, and they're including some craft now, and there is a piece of craft video over. So if you've ever paid a donation in for us on Ko-fi,
I think it's got to be within that. They got either everybody or people who regularly donate plus have donated in the last 30 days, or just people who donate monthly. So
it's probably,
I've not got a lot of choice of who. It's very difficult. I'd like to give it to people who do super chats, but I can't link this YouTube with Ko-fi. It's very technical, and you know I'm not very technical.
If you've given a one-off gift in the last 30 days, or if you've made a regular donation on a monthly basis, the video is over there for you to have a look at it. If you want an extra shared video, or if you just want to have a look at an extra shared video, I believe the minimum contribution over on Ko-fi for a coffee is £1. So if you want to go over and give us £1, then
I think it is. It's set at 3, but I think you can click the minus button and take it down to 1, I think.
Yeah, so as I say, if you want to go over there and put a donation, then you can see the video. Okay,
right,
so how are we doing?
Answers?
No, I haven't. I've been talking.
Well, it's going to be a long way up then, or a long way down, depending on where you are.
I don't know where I am.
Do you want to look on mine? Okay. Ooh, it's very technical here tonight, because Phil's far too chatty. While Phil's looking at that, I'll show you something else. And it's getting late, so I'll show you. Shall I? What? You've got a question on this?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I can't show you that. I'll show you my bit of pipe stem. It's not quite so wonderful, but there's no questions on pipe stems. I never ever tire of finding pipe stems. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's a little piece of clay with a hole through the middle. It's broken. There's only an inch of it. Always about an inch, or mainly. Same length all the time. But I still am not bored of finding pipe stems. I never think, there's another pipe stem. I'm not going to bother pick that up. It's like, it's a pipe stem. So I found another bit. You don't get much around in Wales. If you find 1 or 2, it's like brilliant. But then we go to Yorkshire and they're everywhere.
They are indeed. I'm
okay.
having a look at the answers, yes.
There's something wrong then. Right, so you're going to do the answer?
Yes, I am, but this is starting to get weird, because Jeff has admitted that a preemptive answer, and he's got it right again. So he has now got 3 in a row right, and he is answering before I give the answers.
Jeff.
Which makes me think that there's something weird going on here.
There is.
There's something strange.
It's impressive, isn't it?
It
Jeff,
is.
could you send me an email with next week's winning lottery numbers on, please?
Just a random guess. Just give us 6 numbers between 1 and 50. Right then. So, even though Jeff was using telepathy, he was still beaten by the one and only Adam Gates Mudlarking with an anchor, who's come in on the gold podium.
Well done, Adam.
Then we have Telepathy Jeff.
Well done, Telepathy
Jeff. Who
Jeff.
came in second, but freely admits that he has answered this before the question. Because he's working from a hospital bed, he is using a very poor Wi-Fi. His answer isn't even coming in first, and he's answering before the questions, the answers are given. And he has got 3 out of 3, which is mad. So a special place for Jeff the Telepathy. Then Wow, Rachel Bailey's back in.
Well done,
because
Rachel.
Rachel has got A as well. And then Mary Beth. Have I got that right? No? Yes? Yes? Yes! I have. I'm confusing myself. Yeah, Mary Beth, who this time has just pipped Dan Fetters. So there we go. Mary Beth got in as well. So there we have it. I've named 4 because we're giving special prizes to Jeff if he gets one right. And he's in the top 4 because he's using telepathy and answering early. But there we go. We got Adam, Jeff, Rachel and Mary Beth.
Catherine Moore said, would the pipe stem material hold dye? Now,
Dunno.
have you got some finds to show?
Yeah.
I'll be back in about a minute or 2. I'm just looking at the time. I'm going to go and put that in some Kool-Aid. I'm going to make up some Kool-Aid pretty quick and see if it'll dye. You okay? You got something to show?
Yes. Carry on, dear. You carry on. You just go and abandon me. I don't mind. Right, now then, there's not much can be done with this, but it just goes to show that even in this part of the world, if you go to the right village, people had posh teapots. Because that's pretty nice stuff. That must have looked quite the thing when it was on somebody's tea tray with the cups and everything else. With all of the gold as well as the floral. So I thought that was quite nice. So I brought that back to show you. And of course at the same time I picked up a cup. Which had an extremely fancy handle on it. So that was very, very posh and pucker. There we go. But there's not much of that either. So there we go. That was another bit. And of course, we also had a rather interesting piece of glass. Because as Caroline said, normally a shard of glass like that we wouldn't pick up. But it happened to say L-A-R-K. Lark. And there's a part of an E on the end. So obviously it's part of a word. And I think there's a letter there. So I would say it was Clark. Because there's probably a C there and an E there. But what was interesting to us is the fact that it actually says the word lark. And there it is. And I had a message earlier today from one of our friends out there in YouTube world whose name happens to be Lark and said that was their favourite find. So there we go. It was only a broken bit of bottle, but because of the lettering making the word, it made it special.
I don't know if I can show you without tipping it. I've got a bright red. It's a cherry Kool-Aid. I love the smell on Kool-Aid. I always use it to dye. I used to use it to dye wool, and now I use it to dye fabric and paper. But I'm now going to pop in this. You see the colour on it? Into the Kool-Aid, and we leave it a minute.
I'll just show them. There we are. Just for the crafty caravanners.
There we go.
Home is where you park it.
They gave us that when we retired and from one of our jobs. And we were supposed to be going, for many of you know, on the road in our motorhome now.
When I was 60.
Yep, and because
but
of
COVID was the big
Brexit was
thing.
difficult, and then COVID happened, so it hasn't happened, but it's still in the pipeline.
It's all part of the plan, folks. You will be coming with us on our tour at some point, I assure you. But yeah, when we retired, our congregation, that was part of our gift, was the mug. Home is where you park it. Ready for when we head off on our adventures.
I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
Right, you're going to dig it out, do you?
I can't see it.
It's gone.
Ah, there it is.
Now we're going to find out.
It's looking like that now, and it's been in there. It's hot, and it's been in there. I think I need to wash it, don't I?
Yeah, you're going to swill it now and see if it's held the colour.
You're impressed, look at that. So how am I going to get it out? Got my chopsticks. When we were in China, I thought, oh, there's bound to be knives and forks in China for the British people. There wasn't. So it was either starve or learn to use chopsticks. So we learned to use chopsticks.
Right. Now, while Caroline's going, I'm going to show you another find. And this is one of Caroline's favourites, which I have done my best with, folks, up to a point. And I think it now looks a little bit better than it did when we picked it up on the river. There you go. If I just turn him around. See the screw heads there on the back starting to show now, just up either side of that hole there. There's a couple of screws, and of course the cogs on the front.
No, not picking it up.
No, it was earlier and it won't now. Just because you came back, it was happy. There we are, it's fine now. And even the ridges on the little winder are starting to show. So very pleased with that, weren't we, dear?
We were. Oh, I was so excited to find it. And it was some sort of knob or something I saw rolling down the hill, and then it went. And then that was at the bottom.
And I can tell you something of the history of this watch.
Go on then.
Would you like to show your pipe stem first?
I would, then I put it down. Just wash this. Now, it's only been in there a very short amount of time, so it will probably take more. Let's try that. It definitely is pink.
Yeah,
from a purple thing. Dye. So it will take dye, but I think I'm going to pop it back in and leave it in there for a couple of hours. See how that does.
We'll show it you next week, folks. It might even be ruby coloured by then, ready for the anniversary.
Good point. Don't forget, if you want to send in a photograph for the live show next week, our celebration about 40 years of marriage, pictures of yourselves, then send it to
a selfie.
mudlarking@aol.com, and then we can put you on the show next week.
All lowercase, just mudlarking@aol.com.
And it's in the description below if you need to see it.
So I can tell you something about this watch. I can tell you where it came from. I can tell you how it got on the river.
Go on then.
It was owned by a miner who obviously dropped it while underground.
Right.
And then it came up the pit with the coal, went through a washery and ended up washed out into the river.
Right. There we go.
Do you know how I deduced this?
How do you deduce that?
Well, as you can see, folks, that is now empty on the inside. Whereas it was full when we got it, but it wasn't full of silt. It was full of small coal.
Small coal is what they call the dust. You have the big lumps of coal, and then the dust
There
is
was
like
little
small
grains
coal.
of coal all wedged together and jammed inside the watch. So obviously this has been through the washeries. It's been smashed there. The coal has gone inside it. Then it's come out into the river.
Lovely to have a bit of history on it.
That was a miner's watch. That was a miner's watch. That's what I believe, because the chances of this being dropped on the riverbank and filling with coal is pretty slim. It's going to fill with silt or dirt, but it was coal dust and smalls of coal that were inside the watch. So there we go, folks. A miner's watch, and I'm sure that that's going to find a place in a work of art down at the shed.
Go on, admit it. What are you going to do with it? Say it.
I'm not.
Say it.
I refuse to say that I'm going to put it on a plane.
Betty puts it on a plane.
So there we go. And I have a question related to that find.
What a coincidence.
I
Let's
tell
have a
you,
question.
I astound myself. Right, the very first pocket watch was invented a long time ago.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. 511 years ago.
Wow.
That is a long time ago. And it was invented 511 years ago, as I say, in 1510. And it was invented by a watchmaker, which makes sense. Seems he invented a watch. And his name was Peter Henlein. Now that's Henlein, which may be important in the question, I don't know.
Can I just interrupt you a second? Ed said put it on a coal plinth. That's an interesting thought, that. Right, sorry, carry on.
Great minds think alike, sir.
I can see all your answers coming in. Behave yourselves.
I was thinking of actually going to the river and getting a piece of coal from there in order to utilise it as part of it. That was part of my thinking. So there we go. Okay, by utilising advancements in mainsprings, Peter was able to create a much smaller watch design than was ever possible before. What nationality was Peter? Was he A, Danish, B, Swiss, or C, German? What do you think Peter was? Do you think he was Danish, Swiss, or German? First guy to make a pocket watch 511 years ago.
Right.
Right, where does the genuine answers start?
You see, yeah, there was a lot of answers in before Phil asked the question. You sneaky little minxes, you. Okay.
There you go. So we're on that one.
Phil now wander off and find it. So have a look at this. Problem is, I can't see it to get it out now. There must have been some powder stuck in the bottom. And so I could see it, but now I can't see it. Must be in there somewhere. There it is. No, it doesn't seem to be getting any redder, does it? I was hoping it'd be like really, really red. So you may find if I swilled that again, it wouldn't be much colour change. Never mind. Leave it in. You never know. I see this now. My mug will always be red inside, and the little bit of pipe stem will still only be pink. Oh, I love the smell. Oh, cherries. Right.
Ah.
Oh, just a second. I need my glasses. What these are about? Yeah, but that was before you asked.
But was it before I asked the question? Before I gave the answers, but it is the correct answer.
Yes, but before.
But that's permitted, isn't it?
Right,
If they write the answer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd asked the question, but go on then. Just include it. Include it. Oh, this is terrible. Catherine said,
You all naughty people out there. You're very naughty.
Oh, Lexi said, would beetroot die? It was worth a try. I don't have any beetroot though. I didn't grow any this year. Right, so there you go. Catherine said, don't eat a noodle. I won't.
Okay.
Okay.
The answer is German.
I got this wrong.
Yes. Caroline decided to play safe and go the other way. She wouldn't go for Swiss because that's too obvious. The Swiss are famous for making watches, so probability is it's not the Swiss because that'd be too easy. So Caroline decided to go for Danish.
Oh, Rita said, no, I'm not naughty. I'm German and know him.
What's that?
Rita.
Oh no, Rita, I've given you the podium. I've given you the top place. You're all right. But your answer was in amongst the naughty people who was putting ABC 1, 2, 3. But your answer was in there, and that was the debate. Because you gave the correct answer in full, you didn't guess an A, B, or C. You have got the podium place. You're on top. You've got the gold award. So there we go. Rita was the first one, and actually, Rita preempted the ABC, but because when I asked what nationality, she knew. So she wrote the word German, which is completely acceptable because she had the correct answer. What's naughty is when people put A, B, or C before I'd given the A, B, and C, because then it gets very confusing. So Rita was number 1 with German.
So well done.
Followed by... How do I pronounce that? Is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I'm going to apologise now in case I get this wrong, but I'm going to say Forsyth, because it's F-E-O, I think with an accent, R-A-G. So I'm sorry if I've mispronounced your name, but you have got C, so that puts you on the plinth. And then Vintage Paragon has also got C. Vintage Paragon UK has given us C. So that's the 3 answers.
Well done to you 3. Excellent.
Well done to everyone. And just to give a mention to Vintage Paragon, who has found himself on a podium position. Therefore, I give him a shout out. Got an excellent channel. He's another Welshman, or at least he's based in Wales. And he's doing brilliantly and got some fantastic finds. I am so jealous of some of the bottles that this guy has found. If you're impressed by really detailed designs on glass or even mountains of cod bottles, this is the man you need to go and check out. That's the Vintage Paragon UK.
Oh, Big Dove said, what's in the red cup? It is cherry flavoured Kool-Aid, which is like little powder sachets you can get. They're American. They're quite expensive if you buy them over here because they don't stock them in the shops. But I use it for dyeing paper and fabric. So I had some there. So I tried dyeing a pipe stem. And it hasn't worked much.
Oh yeah, Vintage Paragon has moved away.
Oh, wow.
Right, so there we go. There's a mystery. It's gone. That's why you put UK in, see?
Yes.
So that you could manoeuvre. That's why we call ourselves Let's Go, because we don't even plan to stay in the UK all the time.
Right, should we have our last question, because it's gone 10 o'clock?
We'll have to show the last find then.
Go on then. Here's the last find.
Last find, our little bottle. Now, we didn't find much by way of bottles on this one, but we found this little bottle. And the interesting thing about this little bottle is it had Beecham's written on each of the corners, which surprised me because, not being very knowledgeable of Mr. Beecham, all I knew was Beecham's powders, because we always had them in the house when I was a kid. My mum always had Beecham's powders there. But this says Beecham, and we're now going to have a question related to that find.
Here we go.
Okie doke. As a boy, Thomas Beecham worked as a shepherd in Oxfordshire. Not a lot of people know that. Then in 1840, he did casual work when for a time he acted as a village postman. But alongside the casual work, he sold some pills he'd invented in a nearby market. Then, 2 years later in 1842, he set up in business producing Beecham's pills, and Thomas became a travelling salesman offering his pills all around the country. What were the pills? A. Painkiller, B. Laxative, or C. Cold remedy? What were the pills that Thomas Beecham started selling in 1842 around the houses? He went on to build himself a business which still continues today but under different ownership. And these actual pills, to the same recipe I believe, were being produced right up until 2008, I believe it was, when they stopped. So when you think from 1840 to 2008, that's a long time. That's 170 years almost. That's not bad going. So what do you think?
They weren't.
So what do you think they were for?
Right, we got.
Head creative D.
Could be right. You know. Right then, so there's our first answer, and our second, and our third there. I guess this one right. People were a bit fascinated with this sort of thing.
Yeah, well, you guessed it right, because your mother had given it to you when you were a kid. And you didn't really need it, but they gave it to you anyway.
You know, 'cause I remember my father saying, what are you giving her those for? They're not for what's wrong with her. But I didn't realise why it was a problem until we were chatting about this, and Phil said, oh, that's what they're for. Like, that's why they really weren't for what was wrong with me.
So where do we buy? There we buy.
Just a second. We're
there.
There we go. We're there. Right, quick then, it's nearly 10 past 10.
Yeah, but we were 10 minutes late starting because we had silence the first 10 minutes. Okay, the answer is, and can I say, Adam, you've been coming in really quick and you've been pretty much the first answer each time, but you haven't been as accurate as you were in the last 2 weeks because you went for the painkillers, which of course I think there's a painkilling element to Beecham's powders, but Beecham's pills were a laxative. They were a laxative, which he sold, as I say, for 170 years. Well, he didn't, but the company sold them 170
It'd be good
years.
if he was selling them for 170 years. It goes to show they work.
And in the 1950s, the one thing they did to change it was they added a coating because they were a rough pill that had just been rolled, just up as ingredients. As he'd made them for like 100 years, they were making 90 years, they made them the same way. It was laxative, which is B, which means Rachel Bailey, who has shown up a couple of times on podiums tonight, is taking the top slot.
Well done.
Yes. Quickly followed by another channel that we've seen appear a couple of times tonight, West Country Mudlarks. Check them out, folks. They've come in straight behind Rachel with B. And then we go down and it's Vintage Paragon UK.
Well done again. Ooh.
There we go. So we've got our 3 answers, our 3 correct answers, our 3 top correct answers, because there are others with the correct answer and other answers going all the way down. We had a variety of answers tonight. We had A's, B's and C's, but the B's have it, and they are our 3 winners tonight.
Yes, so well done. And Lexi, you swallowed them.
Yes. Well,
right.
Thank you ever so much for being
thank
with
you
us,
for joining
folks.
us. Don't forget, next week we have a big celebration. Put your glad rags on, buy yourself something nice to eat, a nice snack or a nice drink.
Party
We would
time.
love to have a photo of you. So
Yes,
send that
them
over
pictures
to
in to
mudlarking@aol.com. And we'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, have fun.
And give us a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, the thumbs up. Don't forget the thumbs up for
We
you.
got 87.
You're not
Make
allowed
it
to
the
go till you give
100,
us a thumbs
folks.
up.
We won't go. We'll keep
That's
staying.
right, we keep talking.
Okay, bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Have fun. Bye.